Assalamualaikum and hi, my name is Abdul Wazir bin Abdul Jamal. My matric number is 01DTK21F1102.
My name is Nur Huda binti Ahmad Kamal and my matric number is 01DTK21082.
Hi, my name is Aubrey Shunik. My matrix number is 01DTK21F1094.
Hello guys, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Danish Ikhwan Muhammad Rizal. My matrix number is 01DTK21F1086.
Introduction of vector in video game. A vector in the plane 2D or in the space 3D is an oriented segment that links a point called origin or starting point with another point called terminal point. A vector from a point P to a point Q is represented with the symbol PQ. A vector has three fundamental properties. Size or magnitude, represented by the length of the segment with respect to the predetermined unit of measurement. Direction with coincide with the geometric line on which the segment lies. Sense, which specify the orientation of the segment that define the vector. We can also define the null vector, which is reduced to a point and is represented with the symbol 0. Vectors are used in physics to represent the position of a body in the plane or space, speed, acceleration, apply force. By introducing a Cartesian reference system, a vector can be represented by the coordinates of its terminal point, assuming that the initial point is at the origin of the reference system. Two vectors coincide if they have the same magnitude, direction, and sense. To check if two vectors are equal, simply move one parallel to itself so that the starting point coincides, and check if the end points of the two vectors also coincide. Mathematics is the fundamental tool for development of video games. To vector calculus, many other areas of the mathematics have an indispensable. In the most interesting game, the characters are immersed in a scene that tries to simulate the real world to make the behavior of characters of the game realistic. It is necessary to simulate the laws of physics and thus to solve complex mathematical equations. The computing of the trajectory of an aircraft, the driving of a car at a high speed, the descent along a snow track, the jump of an obstacle would not be possible without the aid of mathematical tools. Thank you.
Application of vector product. The vector product is one of the other most important tools that game developers might need in their toolbox. The vector product is a mathematical operation applied on two input vectors that returns a perpendicular vector in relation to the two input vectors. The magnitude of the vector product tells us the area of the parallelogram spanned by the two vectors of the vector product. In video games, we use vectors to represent the velocity of players, but also to control where they are aiming or what they can see. A vector can be represented as a point in space that has a direction and a magnitude in relation to its origin. All of this is done with a single vector. We also need a point to keep track of the player's position at all times. A point is very similar but doesn't have this additional info, and its origin is always at 0, 0 in any graph. In this case, the player's position will be the origin for our velocity and rotation vectors. The order of arguments in vector product is matters. If you switch orders, the result will be a vector of the same length but facing the opposite direction. Vector products are common throughout every aspect of game development. For example, the physics engine needs to use vector products for collision detection and response. The rendering engine needs vector products to calculate lighting and other material properties, to generate submissions, and to generate normal on-the-fly for lighting or special effects. Vector products are heavily used in writing shaders. And lastly, game logic can use vector products to determine targeting direction and drive AI.
Mathematical solution with drawings. As you can see, a boy is finding the exit, which is here. Assume the boy is at the origin and he have to jump through point A, B, and C to escape. Now, let's look at the question. It is given that OA 06, OB -5 and 6, and OC -5 and 12. The question is, what is the vector from A to B? AB is equals to AO plus OB. Since we don't have AO, we're going to use -OA plus OB. Substitute the vector OA and vector OB into the equation. And lastly, we will get the answer of -5i. And the vector AB is -5 and 0. Now, what is the vector from B to C? BC is equals to BO plus OC. Since we don't have BO, we're going to use -OB plus OC. Substitute the vector OB and OC into the equation. And lastly, the answer will be 6j, which brought to vector of BC06. By having these two vectors, we're going to find the magnitude of AB and BC. The magnitude of vector AB is found by using the equation square root of x squared plus y squared. Substitute the value for x and y, and we got the magnitude for AB is 5. Same formula to find the magnitude of vector BC, square root of x squared plus y squared, and substitute the value of x and y, and we got a magnitude of 6 for vector BC. Now let's see the result.
Conclusion. Last but not least, our conclusion in this video is many think vector product is not applied in video games, but instead vector can also be used in video games. For example, Super Mario games, Sonic games, and Power games. It requires skill from a vector product. A vector is a physical quantity with magnitude and direction. Vectors may be represented as arrows, where the length of the arrow indicates the magnitude and the arrowhead indicates the direction of the vector. The position vectors are used to describe the size and position of a vector. The direction of a vector can be indicated by referring to another vector or a fixed point. The resultant vector is the single vector whose effect is the same as the individual vectors acting together. With the vector form, we can create more games with the same features like Super Mario games. Very useful for the games who have to use the magnitude and direction. And finally, a vector product should be more applied because it can make the games can be more systematic.